Alrighty. Dzień dobry, people. Atticus Shaffer here. Welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel that I hope you will all enjoy. Today, I've got something fun for you all. We are going to be partaking in an MRE together. MRE stands for Meals Ready to Eat. And this is generally something that the military will use to feed soldiers out in the field, but on the civilian market, we here in America and in several other countries were able to get surplus MREs, or we can actually buy them direct from a manufacturer here in the United States. If you look online, you can get them. And I had done a video many moons ago, back when I was still on the show, where I was eating an MRE. But the problem was I was doing it while I was on set and I was working at the time, and just the long and the short of it, it didn't really turn out the way that I was hoping it would turn out. But today, I have an MRE here for us, and I want to do more of a tutorial on how to utilize an MRE and different thoughts and applications on it rather than a full-fledged eating video. I'm not going to sit here and actually eat through this whole MRE. Rather, I want to taste test it with you guys, show you the different things that you can expect in an MRE, and then be able to utilize it. Today here, we have a Fox Outdoors vintage, I forget what model of bag this is, but it's an awesome bag. This bag is really cool, fairly cheap as far as a backpack goes. This is a cotton canvas, and it has a finish on it that's sort of semi-waterproof. It kind of makes the water bead up and fall off. And so I really love this bag, and for being a hobbit, it's kind of hard to find a bag that actually fits me appropriately and doesn't, you know, dig into my back or do any weird things because it's too big. This one is just about perfect, and what I love about this bag too is that it's a big, it has these magnet pegs, and then it's a drawstring like an Alice pack, and I had the drawstring undone for this video for simplicity's sake, but inside it's literally just a giant dump pouch, and I love that. Sometimes it's better to have a bag where you can make it more like a dump pouch, and then that way you can just throw your stuff in there, and it's easy to reach in and just pull it right out like this. So, we've got our MRE, we've got our water. I wanted to make this video today because we're nearing and inching ever closer to 2023. And I'm very excited for 2023 because 2023, there's going to be a lot of really cool zombie-themed entertainment pieces that are going to be released. And I don't know, doing something like an MRE just feels very appropriate to harken in a year that's going to be full of a bunch of different zombie apocalypse stuff. We have Last of Us series coming out on HBO Max, which will be really interesting to see. I'm curious to see how they handle their business in that series. Also, we have Last of Us Part 1 being released on PC, which I am going to be playing through on my Twitch channel. Link in the description box below. And then also, too, a game I'm very hyped for is The Day Before. And it's an open world, like, infected, post-apocalyptic sort of game, and it looks really good, and that's something that I'm going to be doing a playthrough of, and probably multiple seasons of that on my channel as well, on my Twitch channel. So again, if you haven't done so already, and if you're into gaming, especially like all the zombie apocalypse stuff like I am, definitely go down below and check it out. So the MRE that I have here for us today to try, it's titled Menu 20, Hash brown potatoes with bacon, peppers, and onions. So that's what it looks like right there. It comes in this pouch. And let's talk for a quick minute before we bust into this. I want to talk for a minute as to what the purpose of this meal ready to eat, or this ration, for, if you will, would be. So, I think that it goes without saying that, as we have seen in recent and distant history, some sort of event that disrupts daily life can happen at any given time. Whether that be something like a war, or a natural disaster, or some sort of contagion event, or whatever, that can happen. It can also be something as simple as your car breaks down, which I mentioned this in my coffee video. It can also be something as simple as your car breaking down and you're stuck somewhere for a few hours waiting for a tow truck or a jump start or whatever it might be. And the whole purpose of having supplies ready to go with you whenever you go out, or having supplies like this available to you when you're in a position where, like, you're outside of your home and things could be more compromised, is to have them as a resource. This is a resource. This is a resource for you to have. Your car is a resource for you to have. The gas in your car is a resource for you to have, etc., etc. So when you go about things like a zombie apocalypse, and for the sake of fiction and humor, we can reference traipsing through a zombie apocalypse. If you're in a zombie apocalypse and you need to get from point A to point B as efficiently as possible, you need to eat. And when you're in a situation like that, food being fuel for yourself is good for a wide variety of different things. When you eat, it creates a furnace inside of you. It helps you to keep warm, as well as the caloric intake that's necessary for you to be able to function, have good decision making, etc., etc., etc. So that's the purpose of something like an MRE, and if you've been a part of my channel for a long time, you know that I've tested out things like sardines, a wide variety of different foods, and obviously food is pertinent to enjoyment in my life as well. So hence why we're doing something else regarding food. Right now, let's take a quick look at what comes in an MRE. Now, this is an American MRE. Canadian MREs and MREs from different countries will have the same basic principle, but they will be packaged differently. Emblems will be different. Verbiage will be different. The food inside will be different. Expiration dates will be different, etc. For MREs like this, which this is one that I bought online on Amazon, and I had it get shipped to my house. This was brand new from the factory, had a manufacture date within a month of when I bought it. That was 2 years ago. MREs stored in ideal circumstances will last for about 5 years. At least based on what this box of MREs had on it, the information that was on it. And again, you need to do your own research, especially with the MREs that you are specifically buying. For me, my opinion is that it's better to get MREs that are as close to the manufacture date as possible, meaning as recently made as possible. And all of the items in an MRE are already cooked. And this is something that if you did not even have time to utilize the heating element to warm up, you could still eat. Part of what makes an MRE useful, especially when it comes to a food that you would keep in maybe a bug-out bag or a get-home bag or whatever it might be, is the fact that you don't have to cook it like a Mountain House meal or a freeze-dried meal that you need to rehydrate and take the time to do that. If you wanted to continue to be mobile and continue to get steps under your feet, going from that fictitious point A to point B, this is a way to do that that's way better, because you don't have to make a fire, which therefore minimizes your signature, and you actually don't, in theory, have to stop to eat it, and if you do, it can be for a minimal amount of time. So, food for thought, literally, as you view this video and what MREs are good for. Every food that you can get, food is a resource. If you're in a bad situation and all you can get a hold of are a can of Heinz baked beans and bread, that is still better in a resource that's available to you than all of this fancy stuff. But if you want to get into emergency preparedness before an event happens, you have the money to spare, or you feel it's worthy of investment, then that's the purpose of this video, is to understand what it is. The other thing, too, is generally speaking, in times of humanitarian aid, generally speaking, countries or militaries or governments will typically issue things like this. And so, view this as well as a tutorial, even if you don't go out and get MREs today after watching it. View this as a tutorial that this is what is in an MRE and how you utilize it. So, yay education. MREs, at least the American MREs, you can actually peel back the opening here if you have the grip strength of a moose in heat, but I don't. So I'm going to use a cutting tool and go ahead and open it that way. So we have our packaging open. This is the external packaging. And now we're going to pull out the contents. These MREs are really nice that I got because they are new. It says Department of Defense, United States of America. Warfighter recommended, warfighter tested, warfighter approved. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to just set this right here for now. And then here's our package, kind of vacuum sealed package of the contents. So let's bust this open. MREs, it's kind of like a grab bag of goods. You really don't know what all you're gonna get, and that's kind of what makes it interesting. So I think it's cool. So right here we have the hash brown potatoes with bacon, peppers, and onions. It comes in a pouch like this, and you can see the verbiage there on the side. So that's the pouch of the actual thing, and then it comes with the ingredient list, which this container is also used in the heating of this, which I'm going to show you in here in a minute. So I'm going to just set that there. And then we get a bunch of other stuff with it. So we do have a beverage base, orange type 3. It does have phosphates and all that stuff in it. But again, if you're in a survival situation and you needed the electrolytes or the sugar that's in this, that's where it's necessary. I will not be trying this today, but this is typical like powdered Kool-Aid or Gatorade or whatever. You prepare it the same way in a bottle of water. Now, good thing about MREs, which is awesome, is that you do get a spoon in them. And actually, Mom and I adore these spoons. We keep all of our MRE spoons whenever we've had MREs in the past. And this will be another one added to the collection. But these are really good spoons, like way better than the cheap Chinese stuff that you get at the store. So there's that. Then we have a Bridgeford brand cinnamon bun shelf stable. Cinnamon bun, that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever had a cinnamon bun from an MRE. We're gonna get into something about calories here in a minute too, you guys. So, stay tuned for that. Oh! We've got some jalapeno cashews. Or jalapeno cashews. That's what they look like. That's pretty cool. We have some cheese spread. Can stick that in with your main dish, actually, if you wanted to. It make like cheesy potatoes. That's cool. And then we have dehydrated granola with milk and blueberries, and it's Mountain House brand. That's awesome. I'm gonna keep this. This one I'm definitely gonna keep. I won't open this. I'll save this for something. Wow, that's cool. I did not know that. Mountain House even made it into the MREs. Good for them. That's cool. And then we've got the heating element, which I'm gonna go through all the steps of this with you guys here in a minute. So there's your heating element. There's the chemical thingamabobber in there. That's the industry term. But you can trust me. And then the whole pouch that it goes into. So I'll show you that process here. And then we've got this thing. This is kind of like the little extraneous stuff. And again, this is something else to consider for an MRE. You've got like the little Chick-fil-A gum thingies. You do have a napkin in here. There's a moist towelette, sugar. There's also matches. We'll bust this open in a minute. There's also matches there too. So lots of stuff in here that can be potentially useful in any different situation. We have a hot beverage bag. I don't know what the hot beverage... Oh, that's for the coffee. That's for the coffee, so you can make up your coffee. So in lieu of a canteen, use this. And then lastly here we have some crackers that are completely bent out of shape. That's kind of funny. Crackers that are bent out of shape. We'll bust these open and put a little cheese on it, and it'll be cool. And then that's it. So, that's what the contents of an MRE are, and that's not the same. It changes literally with every menu. Every time you see a different menu, the things that will be in it, paired with it, will be different. And I hope you don't mind my roosters. This is my first time making a video outside in a very long time, and of course they're being very talkative. So I hope you don't mind. Okay. So, we're going to work on making the MRE. Or I should say, heating it up. So, there's a bunch of instructions that are on the package for the MRE heating element. I'm not going to read them because I've done this before, but if ever you found yourself with an MRE and you speak the native language of the MRE origin country, you will be able to see how to do this. But being that I'm a visual person, and I know that there are many others that are out there who are visual as well, I'm going to go through the visuals of it. So, there's a thing here, an arrow, that says tear here to use bag. It's right here. There's a perforation here. We're going to see if it tears. It sort of does. So, it's also good to note when things are difficult. So, that had a perforation, and it did not tear. So, once again, we're going to use the cutting tool to get it open. I live in the country. My mom has chickens. Roosters crow. Thank you. Okay, so we have our MRE bag open, and inside is the chemical heating element. Pretty much think of a hand warmer that you shake and then it gets warm, or you break the thing inside and it gets warm. That's this. It activates with water. And what you do is you have a fill line right down here, and what you're supposed to do is pour enough water in that the line of the water is in between these two lines, and you don't overfill it. And then on here it says, that's the heater, that's the pouch. Okay, so we're going to be sticking, this is the front, this is the back. We'll be sticking the pouch behind the heating element. So we're going to go through that process right now. So I have my little water, and we're going to pour some in. Till we get to the fill line, or the mark. Okay, I went just a little bit over, but I can see that the line is sort of there. I did go a little bit over. It is hard to see, hence why you practice skills. Okay, and now we're gonna take the pouch, we're gonna slide it in so it can get behind the heating element, which it is. We're gonna roll up the bag so it keeps all that trapped in there. And then we're going to open up this, slide this in to the cardboard, just like that. And now this, we're going to lean at a 45-degree angle, like this, for 15 minutes while the chemical process goes about and cooks. So we're going to set that down right now. And we're going to let that do its thing. I'm going to check the time. Okay. And I'll set a timer on my phone here in a minute, and then that'll chime and let me know when it's good to go. Okay, so I have my timer on my phone going now, and while we're waiting, as the MRE heating element works to heat up the food, I do want to sit here and just talk with you guys about a couple things. So, like I had mentioned earlier, if you're in a situation where speed is your ally, or continuous movement is your ally, or somehow, some way you just do not have the ability to make a fire, to cook food or provide for yourself or sustain yourself, that might be because you visually do not want to be seen, or smell, you don't want to have people smell the smoke and then do whatever. Or maybe you're just in a situation where you need to get out of an area rapidly, and movement and speed and consistency is key for whatever situation you may be in. Or you just simply don't have the ability to make a fire. You might, whatever. We can what if game this to death. You apply it to whatever situation you feel is pertinent for yourself. MREs are advantageous because they are already cooked, as I said. But you get so much in them that you get diversity in all the different areas. So you do get things like a protein in the main dish. You do get things like fat. You do get things that are more of the dead carbs for sustained caloric output, like walking. or climbing or maneuvering of some sort. I'm watching my dog. Hold on. Abby, you okay? She should be fine. There's advantages to the MRE. However, there is one caveat to that. When you are using the MRE heating element, and it is working, there will get to a point, about 7 minutes into it working, where it will start to seem like it's smoking, and it is creating an odor. It's nasty. It stinks. But it's an odor that does get emitted from the MRE. This is not something that you want to do in an enclosed space. You need to have some sort of ventilation when you're making an MRE. So to think that there's no need for that, that would only be the case if you're not cooking, or you're not heating it up. It's already cooked. But if you're not heating it up, it's not an issue. If you are heating it up, you need to have ventilation. It is a nasty variant of sewage odor, and you definitely do not want to have that be, you don't want to be in an enclosed environment when you're dealing with that. Now, the other side of it, I did a test, and this was something that was from my own knowledge. We live in a world today where people base things more on feelings rather than facts. And that right there is a truth that can be applied to various different things, many different situations in society today. However, my point for this is there's many times where people feel like they need to eat until they feel full. And that's simply not true. The math of it is not true. Having the feeling of being completely full or stuffed is definitely a luxury that we have in the modern day and age that was not the norm for the most part in most of our nation's history, I would say. I'm speaking as an American, and probably most of the history of the world for that matter too. I did this test where I have a recumbent bike here that's near our kitchen, and I will go on it, and that's a way of safe exercise for me. I really enjoy it. I went on, and it's an 8 degree of toughness in the resistance recumbent bike. I stick it on low because I want to build up stamina, and I have other reasons for that, but I had it on 3. I had it on a 3, which is fairly strong resistance for me, for my body. And when I was working on the 3, I went 10 minutes really giving it, and I mean really giving it, on that 3 setting. And I only burned maybe 90 calories. Maybe. Now, granted, there might be some leeway because is the 3 actually a baseline? Does the computer in the recumbent bike take that into account with my particular model, etc., etc., etc. But to give a general idea, I expended, while exercising, a rigorous activity, only 90 calories from doing something as rigorous as that for 10 minutes, right? These crackers alone, the serving size, which is just one, it's the package, is 180 calories, and 50 of those are from fat in these crackers. You will not starve by not eating all of the contents of a single MRE in one sitting. For that matter, that's not going to be the case for, you know, the initial part of some sort of event that you need to work through, right? So when we talk about rationing food or stretching out our food, you don't need to sit and eat the whole thing in order to achieve the feeling of fullness. In a way, that could do more harm than good. It's generally known that the healthier thing a human being can do, generally, is to eat several small meals throughout a day, even snack-sized meals, than to sit and gorge on ginormous meals 2 or 3 times a day. And again, this is me just speaking. You can take this as you will, given your own medical needs or bodily needs or whatever. But, suffice it to say, If I'm in a position where I needed to do a lot of walking, or for that matter, I wasn't doing a lot of walking, maybe I was in the proverbial car broke down and I'm waiting for help situation, I don't need to bust open my MRE, throw a feast, make myself feel sickly full, and then not have any food left. You can balance it where you take little pieces at a time of your food. For example, maybe you're out, you're walking, it's the beginning of an event, and you need to put in fuel. Have your cheese and crackers first. Eat them while you're walking, and keep getting those steps underneath you, but you're refueling yourself. Then, later on, have just the entree of the MRE. That's another meal. You're filling yourself up, you get to have that furnace burning in you for the night when you sleep, keep you warm. You've got some calories replenished, and then, okay, now you're done. Then, in the morning, have the granola with the blueberries. Do you see the point that I'm trying to get at? An MRE, one MRE, really is not one meal. The best way of approaching it is take this package, make it multiple meals through a situation. Now stack it where you have maybe 2 or 3 of these. You're in an even better situation. You're talking about being able to eat potentially for a week if you're smart. The water is the key. The water is what you have to have a lot of, and that's under any circumstances. If you don't have water, no matter where you're at, no matter if you have food or not, that's not good. The other side of that is, as well, if you have multiple people in your group, and you're traversing through an area, perhaps you're with your family, and each family member has 2 or 3 MREs in their bag. You can trade stuff with each other. Perhaps one of you gets something that's maybe peanut-based and you have a peanut allergy. Trade it with someone else for their cheese or whatever. So for me, MREs have a lot of diversity that I really like. And for me, it seems like, from my research, which I've been into emergency preparedness and how to survive the zombie apocalypse and all that stuff since I was 14. I'm 24 now, so that's a decade of research and kind of wading through the truth versus the lie and the ridiculously hardcore survival stuff where they're eating grubs and whatever to I'm a normal person and what would I realistically do. And that's kind of what I've fallen into, I think. I think that it's very important that we all be realistic when it comes to emergency preparedness. And in reality, simplicity is almost the best as well. Don't overcomplicate things. This is pretty much me heating up a meal in a microwave, except I don't have a microwave. But this is easy for me to do, hence why I do it. A mountain house meal even would be easy to do. You just have to find a way to boil the water and then you rehydrate it. And in actuality, you don't necessarily have to boil the water. If you just combine water with the food, you can eat the food. It becomes edible. So, simplicity is key, and that's something that I think is really important. And when I look at survival channels on YouTube, while I do enjoy many of them, and I enjoy the different settings that they put themselves in the environments and whatever, I find it very disconcerting how they want to also almost make it an exclusive thing where you have to be in the know, otherwise you're dead, type of deal, and that's just simply not true. What I like, and I've mentioned this before on stream, I really like the mindset that a gentleman by the name of Alan Kay has subscribed to, and he did not originate this. He heard it from a mentor of his many moons ago. But for those of you who don't know, Alan Kay is the very first winner of the History Channel series alone. He won season 1 of that show, and I've seen some of his stuff on YouTube, and I think he's really cool. I like his personality and how he thinks, but how he thinks is significantly more realistic than how many of the other survivalists and preppers on YouTube think and make videos. But something that he had said that really stuck out to me, and it's something that I've already been living my life in that way anyway, but I took it on when I think of emergency preparedness or just, having skills in general, is he said, if you will do, it will do. And I think that's a very important truth that in this day and age we need to know, and maybe that can be an encouragement for you watching the video. Maybe you do have a physical challenge like I do. Maybe you are a person who maybe you're not, running a triathlon anytime soon, yet you're still able-bodied and able-minded enough to think about this and know that something needs to be done, and you want to do something to better your own circumstances or your family's circumstances, especially because of being in uneasy times or whatever it might be. This is something that's simple and realistic and practical, and I think people, I think that more people should be encouraged in that there are simple, practical things that we all can do that will benefit not only ourselves but our family and potentially even our community as well. I mean, think back even on victory gardens back during the Second World War, and how everybody, no matter how big of a plot of land that they had, they would do something to help themselves, and then that way the other food in the stores could go to soldiers overseas, or the other materials could go to soldiers overseas, help with the war effort, etc. So I really hope that this can be a blessing to you guys. We're going to get into the food here in a minute. I'm going to let my food finish heating up, and then I'll break down how to bust it open and other safety things that need to be thought of when you're dealing with an MRE. Okay, everyone, so my timer just went off for my MRE, and we're going to jump right on in here and dig into it. So I opened up the packet that had all of the different things in it. I did pull out the moist towelette. We're going to use this for a reason. Inside of that packet was iodized salt, a powdered coffee creamer, a packet of instant coffee, some Chick-fil-A's, and then a napkin and some matches. Neighbor's dog's going off now. Great. Nappykin here. It's in this little brown pouch. We're gonna bust this open here. I hope this video turns out. Okay, multiple little nappykins here. We're gonna just set that here on the old leg, and then we'll do this for now. Okay. So this definitely got hot. This definitely got very warm. Probably it's a very uneven warming of this thing, but you can modify that with how you have it leaned up against the ground or wherever. So we're gonna reach in here. Be careful of the steam burn. Be careful of getting burned. Period. Okay, we're gonna pull it out. This thing's nice and hot. It's good to go. It's got a little bit of steam. You can see that steam. I smell the smell. Imagine chemical-laden packaging popcorn being set on fire with a blowtorch. That's the smell. Plus burnt hair. Anyway, so here's something that I learned. Back when I was on the show and I did my first MRE video, that first MRE video actually, a guy who was an electrician on the set, or was he a transpo guy? No, he was set deck. Okay, a guy who was set decoration. He's the one who gave me the MRE that was for that old video. When he did, he was in the reserves, I think, or the National Guard, something. Anyway, what happened was, what he told me is he said, hey, safety tip. You know the moist towelette that's in your thing. After you're done heating up your MRE, take the moist towelette out and wipe down the bag. Because the chemical that secretes from the heating element into the water that gets on the bag, if you ingest it, it will give you diarrhea. So, huge safety tip. I now pass on the knowledge to all of you awesome people. Take your moist towelette and wipe down the edge of your MRE bag. Because nobody wants to have the runs while on the run from the zombies. So we're going to bust this out. Do a little bit wiping down our fingers and such. And we're going to wipe down this. It's definitely warm, which is good. No, my napkins. Okay. So this is all wiped down. We got the juice off of it. And then on your MRE eating pouch, there's a little, that napkin will live there. There's a little tear right there. Right there. So we'll go ahead and get this out. Okay? And we're gonna open this. Oh! And that looks and smells nasty. It looks like my colon. So that's the other thing too, you guys. Test out MREs ahead of time. And only get the ones that you actually like. This is so weird. It almost looks like noodles. But it's not supposed to be. I'm gonna take just one bite to try it with you all, stupid hawk. We're just gonna cut away from this part of the video. So, if you're really desperate, this'll be good. If you're really desperate. I'm not. Okay. Anyway, I got a spoon out of it. Let's try the other stuff, shall we? I will say that the pasta dishes for MREs are really good. They taste like Chef Boyardee. That's usually the ones that I will get if I want to have 2 or 3 on hand for any sort of preparedness situation. Yeah. I'm not going to get the potatoes and hash browns again. No. Okay. Spoon, you live there for a minute. Let's try the crackers with the cheese. Ooh, I heard oxygen go into it. So these are like saltines, kind of. Yeah, that's... Yeah. Oh, yeah. My spoon's on the ground. Fine, be there, spoon. Tear at corner. The hound of the Baskervilles. The chicken of the Baskervilles. Okay. Also note, if packing MREs in the zombie apocalypse, bring a cutting tool, because you can't get into anything otherwise. A sharp cutting tool, not nail clippers. Nail clippers are for nails and facial hair. Alright. Cheese, if you please. Cracker. This is the government cheese that Chris Farley was talking about when he lives down by the river. That's better than the main dish. Yeah, I can tell you that for free. It tastes like really cheap Cheese Whiz on styrofoam. Yeah. I'm probably not gonna poop for a week after this video. This hurts. Cool. That, though, if you're walking, that'll keep you going. That'll keep you going. What do we got left? Jalapeno cashews. That, once again, oh. There we go. Oh, these ones open. So the cracker's open. And the cashew's open. Oh. Oh, those actually smell pretty good. I once got an MRE that had, combos in it. Or no. Snyder's Pretzel Bites. Snyder's of Hanover. So there are times that actually you'll get name brand stuff. Like in... They just freeze dry it or vacuum seal it. So it's, shelf stable. Air quote. Look at that. It's like I'm gonna feed the birds. Tuppence a bag. Those are pretty good. Got a little bit of a sweet heat to them. Mmm. I like spice and I like cashews, so. This is fitting. Yeah. These are pretty good. Got a little bit of spice to them. They're very salty. So, if you're wanting to ration water, maybe not the best thing. But, they'll eat. Last but certainly not least, we have the Bridgeford Cinnamon Bun. It feels soft inside. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, very pungent on the cinnamon flavor. There's a desiccant in there. I won't worry about that now, but look at that. It's a little pouch with a baked item in it. I went to the baker today. Smells like cinnamon. Let's take a bite. Yeah. Very dense. Oh, it's got like a filling. Like a cinnamon filling. I completely missed it up here. Yeah. I can name several different things I would rather eat than that. But oh. I can't tell you the number of different times that I have done I've watched MRE videos, and I was like, what are those guys complaining about? It's not that bad. Yeah, I think listen, I think the life lesson here, my dear friends, is MREs are a viable option. Make sure you get a good one that you've tried before and you know that you like. And, if you get menu 20, trade it away. Even these are bad. Oh my god, these are awful. They're getting better the more I chew. Not really. Okay. I need to vomit, so all of you guys, be sure to hit the like button on this video. Share it on all your social media if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe to my channel. yeah, please, just you gotta make this video worth it, please. Give it a thumbs up. Okay, I'll see you later.